Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Wherever you are, we warmly welcome each and every one of you on our Institution of Global Professionals free webinar. I am Sir Jason S. Yumang, a licensed professional teacher and currently teaching at Codonteto National High School from the beautiful country of the Philippines, and I will be your host for today. I am proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. I feel really honored and privileged to host this webinar. It is also my delight to welcome you all to this institution of Global Professional free webinar. Again, I thank you all for joining us today in this marvelous evening, and it's my humble request and pleasure that you all stay with us until the end. For I'm pretty sure that you all have many takeaways and payoffs from this episode. Moreover, you can like, comment, and even tag, share, and mention your friends in the comment box. So let's watch together and learn together because we believe that the power is gained by sharing knowledge. Every day, some new participants join with us on our free webinars. So I have a little concept about what an IGP is all about. Institution of Global Professionals, or IGP, serves a student and community resource, providing holistic social work and education to create a proficient generation. IGP is also a leading online skill development institute with thousands of learners worldwide. We are able to share information useful to expand knowledge, boost confidence to face any circumstance, and most importantly, to develop own skills. We are also interested with international recognition. IGP also provides social works because we believe that it's not effective to increase one's skills just by acquiring formal education. And so, we provide effective training and consultation to produce proficient generation all over the world. IGP also organizes webinars, trainings, offline and online courses by the best and trained speakers, coaches from the entire world to create a best learning platform for you all. Our mission is to empower people and provide each student a solid foundation of knowledge and skills to help them become a confident learner. And now we have completed the 311 episodes successfully. And we hope that you are getting benefited both in personal and professional life. And we wish that you all remain with us throughout this journey. Before we begin our program, let me remind you once again, our lovely audience, to share, tag, comment, and mention your friends in the comment box because your attachment encourages us to do better and provide our best services to you all. And now, I am really excited to present to you our webinar number 312 for our topic, the importance of knowledge, skills, and abilities. And our speakers for today are Dr. Adobe Bakir from Nigeria and Sir Akash Maharaj from South Africa. And so, let's now start our program with IGP's mantra, feed your skills. Our first speaker is a global managing partner of Endocrine Global and also a business growth expert, coach, mentor, and a business specialist. Ladies and gentlemen from South Africa, let's all welcome on screen Sir Akash Maharaj.
Good afternoon, Sir Jay. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I really look forward to the interaction with all our listeners.
It's our pleasure, sir. So, how are you doing today, sir?
Very well, thank you. I trust that you're all safe and sound and doing very well coming out of this COVID pandemic. I pray for everybody that's listening and joined in at this point in time.
That's really good, sir. So, like, anyway, we're not going to prolong the agony of waiting anymore. And if you are ready, sir, then take it away.
100%. Um, are you able to see my presentation?
Yes, sir. I can see it now.
Okay, great. So today, thank you once again to the Global Institute of Professionals. We are talking about the importance of knowledge, skills, and abilities. So I'm going to just delve in. Obviously, we could speak for at length about knowledge, skills, and abilities. And most human resource professionals and managers are familiar with the acronym KSAs, which they are most commonly known as, which stands for knowledge, skills, and abilities. We find that these are the three most important aspects of a person's career. We hire on the basis of KSAs, and we also promote on the basis of KSAs. And we also find that often these terms are used almost interchangeably. Now, the fine line between each aspect is very often confused and used interchangeably. So the more the skills gap is growing, the more important these aspects become. This is because we need to clearly understand whether it is knowledge or a skill or an ability that needs to be developed as the skills gap increases. So distinctions are important. However, particularly if you're trying to determine the traits of a candidate or employee, or even amongst yourselves as an internal reflection, it's very important to make the distinction between knowledge, skills, and abilities. So let's get into the key terms and let's see what the difference between each is. So, knowledge is both the theoretical and practical information, facts, or skill which we acquire through experience or through learning. Now, our knowledge increases as we gain more experience. So, as it is in the dictionary, knowledge is the acquaintance with facts, truths, or principles, as from study or investigation and general erudition. So, for illustrative purposes, if I wanted to be, for example, a better mechanic, I would possibly take a course on repairing car engines. So I'd read material, I'd pass tests, and I'd get the knowledge, and I'd take a course on repairing car engines. So it would give me the knowledge of how an engine works. However, at that particular point in time, I would not have actually ever worked on one practically. So I would be lacking the next component, which is the skill to work on one. So the skill, when we talk about skills, we talk about the competent excellence in performance or expertness or dexterity. So it's the ability to do something well. And a well developed skill can make us experts in a particular field. And also, skills can be learned too. So, skills can be improved over time and with practice. The skills we look for vary according to the requirements for each unique position. Applicants, for example, within our own environment, can be assessed for their skill level in a job's required area, either through demonstration or by testing. So, returning to my example that I just mentioned of the engine, you know, I had never disassembled one. And since the course has given me the knowledge, I possibly no longer remember the various parts and their location in the engine. And if you, I'm sure everybody would agree, and I'm sure we have lots of engineers here, that if you've ever assembled a car engine or any part for that matter, you know it's never a good idea to finish your assembly and have pieces left over. So an example of a skill, for example, is sales. So as a sales, a sales recruiter, for example, you would interview hundreds of sales candidates. You'd hear every single answer, how to handle sales, objections, and so forth. And as a result, you would have acquired the knowledge to be able to sell, for example, software or consulting services or a particular product. But you won't have that skill. So you'll have the knowledge, but not the skill. So you can't demonstrate that you have the skills to be a competent salesperson, for example, or a mechanic if you don't actually have, if you only have the knowledge. So you have to have the ability as well to work in that particular vocation. So with ability, the power, it means the power or capacity to do or act physically, mentally, legally, morally, and financially, etc. So while the ability is related to skill, it is slightly different because the ability means that you are capable or the individual is capable of doing something. So for example, you may have, um, you may be a doctor, for example, and you may have passed all the exams and graduated, and you may have the skill to be a doctor. However, if you are queasy and you don't like the sight of blood, it means that you don't have the ability to be an effective doctor. So I hope that this has actually assisted in getting through the differences and the distinguishing factors between knowledge, skill, and abilities. Because the ability is a talent or skill in that particular area. It can also be improved or developed to a certain extent, even though it's natural and inbuilt. So its development is also a lengthier and more complicated process. So all it means is that we can have the knowledge of how to do something, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we have the ability or skill to do it. This is why knowledge is the simplest to develop. An example is knowledge to use the word knowledge, for example, to use a word processing application. So we need to have an ability and knowledge to develop a skill. It is difficult to develop a skill if we don't have the ability to develop that skill. So an example is the skill to edit documents on the computer through the word processing application. We can also have an ability to do something, but if we don't improve on this ability, it'll remain stagnant and will unlikely turn into a skill. So for an example, the ability to understand and follow instructions. So there are 12 of the most important skills you need to succeed at work, especially as a global professional. So whether you're a new graduate trying to figure out how to get a leg up in your career, or you're a mid-career professional looking to secure your next promotion, you might be wondering what are the most important skills you need to help you get to where you want to go. So while it's of course important to develop your industry-specific hard skills, what's just as critical to your success are your soft skills. So, soft skills are how you function in the workplace and interact with others. And while they're not easily taught in the classroom or measured, they are key skills that we all need to have. So, additionally, in our more globalized, fast changing work environments, there is now a premium on the kinds of soft skills that allow you to keep pace with the future of the way work is going. So, if you're looking to accelerate your career, let me briefly touch on 12 of the soft skills that you may need to succeed. So, number one is what I call learnability. We'll begin with learnability because it's arguably the most important 21st century skill that you will need to succeed. So, Alvin Toffler once said the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. That's because in an environment where new skills emerge as fast as others fade, success is less about what you already know and more about adapting your skill by growing and expanding your knowledge base so you can use new information and skills to respond to whatever is happening. For example, um, computer coding. So the second skill is resilience because setbacks and failures are a part of life. But how do you choose to deal with those roadblocks is what is critical to your success, especially as a global professional. So, resilience is the ability to bounce back in the face of obstacles and failures. When you are resilient, you don't focus on the ups and downs. Instead, you stay focused on your long term goals and you never lose confidence in your ability to prevail. So, by helping you face challenges and difficulties, resilience also enables you to handle stress more positively. Agility is also a skill that's paramount. And as the work landscape shifts, learning to be agile is a critical skill, as yesterday's solutions do not solve tomorrow's problems. At the heart of being agile is shifting gears when the context calls for it and responding accordingly to the needs of your workplace, clients, or industry trends. Collaboration. In our increasingly hyper-connected world, we are not expected to work just as individuals or only in silos. Our projects have become more complex, so the ability to work effectively as part of a team has also grown in importance. Given the increasingly global nature of work, your ability to collaborate, share knowledge, and contribute to teams that can capitalize on a diversity of thinking and perspectives in ways that everyone can benefit and drive to the shared outcomes is extremely critical. Verbal communication. Advancing in your career is not just based on what you do. There's a good chance that at some point in your career, you'll have to use strong verbal communication skills so you can sell others on your ideas, products, or services. Whether you're needing to explain your value when you're being considered for a promotion, presenting as a part of a team project, or speaking on stage, you need to be able to communicate well and convey a strong persuasive idea, similarly to this webinar that's been taking place today. Written communication is also a paramount skill. We live in an era of tweets, sound bites, blogs, and shares on social media, but good written communication skills still matter when it comes to your career. So whether you're sending professional emails, communicating with a client, trying to deliver a coherent business plan, or anything in between, you should be able to communicate quickly, accurately, and effectively to get your message across. Empathy. It's the ability to empathize with others or see things from their perspective by understanding the emotions and reactions. And it is a fundamental part of how we interact with one another. Communicating genuinely and authentically with others is vital because even in instances when you disagree with your coworkers on elements of a work project, for example, empathy allows you to demonstrate to others that they are seen and heard. Creativity is also a very important skill. It's a crucial skill that we all need because in our fast changing times of technology, employers value employees who can look beyond the present and imagine future possibilities for their company. Creative workers are the ones who ask why. They question, they are curious, and in so doing, they develop new ideas and solutions. Just look at Tesla, for example, and how they're going with leaps and bounds and pushing the envelope of human development and transportation. So, problem solving. How often do you go beyond your immediate job as assigned and instead use more knowledge, facts, and data to see gaps and solve problems? Being a good problem solver is essentially because employers value people who can work through challenges on their own or as an effective member of a team by defining the issues, brainstorming alternatives, sharing thoughts, and then making sound decisions. Leadership. The importance of building the right culture at companies cannot be overstated. So, having the skills to be able to coach and empower others and to motivate those around you to do their best work is a very, very highly valued force, very valued skill for success. Negotiation. So, whether you're in a salary discussion, finalizing a deal with a client, or trying to find common ground with your teammates during a project, having strong and effective negotiation skills are extremely important. Being a good negotiator allows you to get to reach goals while you build relationships, which is a significant part of being successful in your career. And then we come to the last skill, which is technology. So technology is changing at an unprecedented rate and pace. So even beyond the technical skills you need to master for your job, keeping up with technology is essential because of the tools that help you manage your career. Differentiate yourself in the market, brand yourself, and build the critical relationships that you need to be successful. So, regardless of your chosen career path, building your soft skills is critical so you can set yourselves apart from others in a competitive landscape. So, for example, let me touch on the hiring process that we take in our consultancy. So when hiring, we try to determine if employees have the appropriate KSAs or knowledge, skills, and abilities to be effective in the job. And we have to determine the KSA level they need for a particular job. And employees can close the gaps in their knowledge by taking classes. They can improve their skills through training and repetition. So missing skills may not be a big concern in the initial hiring phase because let's face it, the only way that we determine the right type of candidate in most cases, and I'm talking primarily through some smaller businesses, is through a curriculum vitae or a CV or resume and pieces of paper like degrees and certificates that might be attached to it. So, to me, the most important component an employee needs is ability. We need to know if a candidate has the capacity to learn, or has the capacity to physically perform the job, or has the dexterity to manipulate the tools necessary to complete the job. So, in today's increasingly fast and complex world, knowing that a candidate has the ability or capacity to perform may be the most critical factor in hiring for us. So, assessments and skills testing can be invaluable in selecting employees who are going to be highly flexible and adaptive in the workplace. Having the ability to learn new things quickly is a critical component of future work. So, if you need someone who can perform almost immediately, then demonstrated knowledge and skill is necessary, and the proper assessment tools will be invaluable in that selection process. So, the important thing for employers, for example, is to know thyself. Know the level of KSAs needed for each position, and then find the right tool to help your hiring manager hire the best employees. So, with that comes the end of my presentation. I hope that I have not taken up too much of time and not bored everybody with this. And I hope that I've managed to assist as many of you as possible. And I look forward to the questions and answers at the end of this presentation or this webinar. Thank you very much.
All right. I am so thrilled. I'm so speechless right now. That was really great. It's been an honor for us to hear that marvelous presentations, Sir Akas. And yeah, like to be honest, I personally learned so much, and no doubt our viewers learned so much from those beautiful insights and much takeaway information you instilled in our minds. And once again, thank you so much, sir, for sharing not just your knowledge, but most importantly, your valuable time with us today. Once again, let's
Most
all
welcome.
give a virtual round of applause. Yes, sir, to Sir Akash Maharaj. Right, so I guess it's now time for us to move on in our next speaker. Right, so our next speaker, she is one of the Amazon's best-selling authors, and she is also an international motivational speaker. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's all put our hands together as we welcome on screen Dr. Adobe Bakir.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, ma'am. How are you doing today, ma'am?
Yeah, I'll be sharing my screen. I'm happy to be here today. And I also like to thank Akash Mahara for putting such a lovely, fantastic speech today. I actually learned a lot from there.
Mhm.
Can I share my...
We are all we are also happy to see you, ma'am. Right? So we are not going to prolong the agony of waiting. Then, if you're ready, ma'am, then you can already share your screen with us today.
Should I do share screen or video file? I can...
Yes, you can start sharing your screen now, ma'am.
Okay. I hope can you help me with this? I'm trying to share. I don't know, is it showing?
Oh, yeah. It's actually start to share now.
I'm sharing myself again. I'm looking for my PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm.
Let me
Have you
start
tried the
again.
share button already?
Yeah, I've gone on the share button. Should I say video file or what slide? I've got slide, video file, and share screen. Okay,
Hello,
my
ma'am.
PowerPoint is open on my screen
Ma'am,
already.
Um,
ma'am, firstly, you open your PowerPoint
Yeah, my PowerPoint is open already.
and then click on share.
Okay.
Then again click on share screen.
Oh, share screen, okay.
Then again also click on share screen.
I've done that.
Now you can click on your PowerPoint.
Just that my screen, I'm not seeing a PowerPoint on it. Okay. Can you see the PowerPoint now? All I'm seeing is something different.
it's still loading.
Ma'am,
Is
again
Not
it?
click
yet,
on share.
unfortunately, man.
Sorry. This StreamYard is a learning process.
That's okay.
Is it still loading or can you?
Ma'am, again click on share.
Okay, I have to stop sharing. I'm already on. Okay. Let me put my PowerPoint on.
Firstly, you open your PowerPoint.
Okay. Can you see that?
Then click on share.
Okay, I have to go back again.
Again share screen.
Problem is I'm going through screens. Okay, share. Yeah,
Then again share screen.
yeah.
Again also share screen. There is three options: enter screen, window, and Chrome tab. Right, ma'am?
Okay, share the screen. Okay.
There is three options: enter screen, window, and Chrome tab. Right, ma'am?
Yeah, which one shall I pick? Window.
Yes, ma'am. You can click on your PowerPoint.
Okay, yeah, I was clicking on entire screen. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Make it presentation mode. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm ready to go.
It's already visible now.
Sorry? Is that
It's
okay?
already visible now. Yeah,
Is
it's
it
already
visible?
okay.
Yes.
Yes, it's visible already.
Okay.
All right, take it away, man.
Okay, so you can all hear me now. Yeah.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah. Yeah, starting again. I'd like to say thank you to Sir Akash Mahara for your wonderful speech today. Today, I'll be speaking about knowledge, skills, and abilities. So, how many of you have ever asked someone to repeat what they have just said? By show of hand or typing. How many of you have asked them more than once to repeat what they have just said? What about a third time? So, what happens then when you keep asking them to repeat what they have just said? It gets frustrating. According to a 2009 research, frustration sets in on both sides at this time because we keep asking to repeat. I am Dr. Adobe Onyekoli Bakare, the CEO of Put You First. What I just said today is what happens to most of us. My company, our mission is to help clients present themselves in the best possible way through self-communication so that they could exude confidence, clarity, and credibility. Because in asking people to repeat, most of the time, what about us? We don't see the fact that sometimes we might not be communicating clearly enough to other people so that they can understand what we are trying to say or what we are bringing on the table. So our goal today is to communicate clearly our abilities, our skills, and our knowledge. What is all this? Okay, what is knowledge? A knowledge is something that is theoretically or practical in understanding a subject. It's like an awareness. So knowledge is an awareness. Some people they are aware about painting. They can just take a brush and put on the wall. So that is awareness. They know how to paint. But that doesn't mean that they have the skill to do it properly. So skills, what are skills? Skills are the proficiencies you develop through training, through experience. So in other words, from knowledge, you go to skill, and from skill, you can move to higher lengths. Because if your learning stays at the awareness, that is knowledge level, do you know that your career is going to be limited, very, very limited? So today I'm going to talk about the 3 core competencies that is needed for people to succeed in their field of choice. On the bottom, which everybody has, is knowledge. That is awareness. From knowledge, you can build up to skills, and from skills, there comes your abilities. So, yeah, I skipped that one. That's knowledge is the theoretical or practical understanding. I've already said that one. Are you aware that most courses that people take in schools, most of it is just awareness? Like somebody's doing, probably you're doing basic chemistry. You can't just say you are a chemist because that is just basic knowledge for you. So most of the things people do, it's at the basics, but you have to build it up. You can't just leave it to chance, because if you don't build it up, it's going to keep remaining at the basis. So today I will be asking, how are our communication skills? How are your communication skills? Are you asking people to repeat themselves? Are you asking people to talk about their job? Are you asking people for help? It also applies to how we talk to our children, to our parents, to our family. Because communication using the knowledge, the skill, and the ability system actually helps to put things together. Why? So that our lives can actually be more meaningful and we don't get frustrated. The final thing on top is mastery, also known as abilities. Our abilities actually grows once we follow the steps. You follow the steps from the basis, which is the knowledge, the skill, and the abilities. As you can see from the PowerPoint, it's gradual. You don't just jump from knowledge to mastery. It has to be gradual. You have to put in the work. Meaning, how many of you have tried so many things in life? Some people do so many things that they love, but they don't understand how is it that they are not progressing. For example, I'll give you an example. It's like somebody that knows how to bake a cake. They know how to bake. Everybody knows that. Just put the flour together and then mix it with sugar and everything, and you have a cake. But what is the difference between somebody going to a baker to pay £10 for a cake and going to another one to pay £50 for cake, and the third layer is like £200 for the same cake? The difference is in going through the knowledge, which is the basic one, awareness. Then having the second skill is having sorry, water. Sorry, having baking experience. That is, they've been doing this thing, practicing it through a learned behavior, and they get better and better. And at that time, they can actually bake with their eyes closed. That's when they said you've actually got the skills. Once you have the skill, then you can start to pay attention to details, probably add your own touch, add your own style here and there. And once you start doing that, you become a professional. And that's when people will pay you £250 to bake the same cake that the learner or somebody who's just aware is doing. So in all states of life, the best thing to have is mastery in whatever you do. So I'm going to have you to spot some differences, on how this awareness can help us to better our life. What I'm teaching today is getting you from basic to perfect and then to extraordinary. For example, in schools, when students are learning, some people will say, oh, I don't just like geography. Have you seen people, how many of you have seen people that have had that attitude? Oh, it's not what I like. Yes, you might not like it, but have you put the time? If you pick a subject like geography and you spend time in perfecting it, or whatever subject you like, once you perfect it, you now become skilled because you are actually polishing it up and putting in more time. And by the time you put in more time, you actually start doing well, except you don't just like the thing at all. But what most students do, they take lots of courses, I did it once. I tried computer, how to program. After 2 classes, I was aware, I know you do some coding, and I left it. Went somewhere else, I jumped, I did that for 2 weeks, I left it. So at the end of the day, I was just collecting dust. I had a lot of knowledge about things, but I don't have skill. How many of you connect to this? So in order to have skill, you have to persevere. And once you start climbing, then the mastery comes in. That's why you have some people in IT earning so much, because they put in the work and they got to the mastery level. We also have jack of all trades, people that paint. They do painting, they do sewing, they repair, they do hair. There's nothing they don't do. They might think that they're actually being smart, but sometimes you're actually wasting your energy. If I want to paint my house, I don't know about you. For instance, if you want your house to be painted, I'm sure you go to the person that their job is just painting, not painting, sewing, driving, doing this and doing that. So those are the things that we were not told. We went to school and all they told us was learn this and you get a job. But they did not teach us about mastery. So once you start applying the skill and mastery level to whatever you study, it will get you to your purpose. And that's when people will remember you, people will call you. How many of you would like me to use the story of my life? In my story, I was a very good chef. I was working for a company called Salad Master. I was selling makeup, Mary Kay. I was doing this, I was doing that, I was selling energy, doing so many things. You know what? I even did crypto. I never succeeded in them. I just tell people, oh, crypto is not good. This is not good. But I didn't know that I was not focusing. I did not have laser focus on what I was doing. I had friends who were making money on same thing, but I wasn't. But it took a tragic event to put me on my back for 5 months. I was on my bed. And all I could think was how I could help other people to become better, because I always wanted to be a better person, wanted to make money, wanted to have a career. But I was juggling too many baskets. Nobody taught us in school that you have to be perfect. You have to gain mastery. So it was on my hospital bed, and after I've been discharged, that I felt that I had to tell people how to change their lives, but I didn't know how. So because I had a purpose, God brought people to me, people like Professor Caroline McCarker, and other people in the field, Harry Sardinas and Lily Patrasco. They brought them to me and they were able to take that thing from me and put it. And since then, that was the only thing I was doing. I've traveled to India, I've traveled to Dubai, I've been to Philippines, I've been to everywhere in the world, even in London, speaking about how people can change. That got me into a mastery, because today I'm very much sought after to speak about experiences on life changes, experiences on being a master in your field. And that was rewarded to me by a people noticing me and giving me a doctorate today. So I didn't know that was possible, but all I did was try and hone up my skill and succeed, and I became a master. So you can do this in whatever you're doing. If you are selling, probably you work, you are a hairdresser, just focus on making that your goal. Find out how to make the hairdressing better. Find out how you can improve that field. In so doing, you might find out that people will start noticing you. And you just become the person that everybody wants to make their clothes. Because when you are not laser focused, you will not get to the mastery. It takes years, it's not overnight. Though I've heard that some people did it overnight, but I don't know. All you have to do is to be patient and keep going on that. So there was a case of a lady that was all she was doing is making clothes. But because she was from the India background, she decided to make saris. She wasn't making anything, just saris for her customers. She was later known as the sari lady. Reason she chose sari was because she found out that she wanted to promote people wearing saris to events and also customize it so that it would be trendy. So she was just focusing on that. And before you know it, everybody was trooping to her shop, and she had the skill to actually customize it so that it will look so good on you. Before you know it, she became the sari lady. So that is what she does today. And she got that through mastery. So in life, whatever we do, we don't have to be jack of all trades. Time on life is short. Before you know it, people have gone to different stages in their life. How long can you continue to just have knowledge of everything, but not developing the skills, not going to become a master, whatever you do? Even job interviews, when you go for job interviews, they ask you, they ask you a question, please tell us about yourself, or can you tell us more about this? But people just go on the basic. They don't try to promote what they've done. You have to communicate effectively. Keep your voice strong, keep your voice loud, not shouting, but speak from the diaphragm. And when you speak from there, you can actually articulate better. Tell them. Don't just say, for example, if you are a carpenter and they said, okay, tell us about your job. Don't say, I just make cupboards. That is not good enough. You can say, for a scale, you can say, I make cupboards that have been used in new built homes that has actually stood the test of time. Just something. You don't just say you make cupboard, because you've actually done very well. But most of the time, we don't know how to talk about our skills. And even better, you can say, I made cupboards for 5-star hotels. I make cupboard for multi-million pounds house homes. In that case, your employer will look at you, or the person that you want the business from, and they'll say, wow. Or if you are a student, you go for job interview. For instance, if you are a biology student, don't just say, oh, I studied biology. Just say, because of what I have studied, I have been able to prepare blah, 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 blah. I've been able to prepare samples that have been used in laboratories. Because you have done that, but sometimes we don't communicate what we have been doing. Or if you want to become a master, you can say, because of what I've studied, I have been able to create things that have been used in most places, even during the COVID testing. My work, or whatever you do, is been there in so many labs. You have to tell them. They don't know. So, in other words, let's stop playing small. Dig deep into your body, into your mind. Write things down. I'm sure you find that you have more, because all of us have all the skill and abilities, but we always show ourselves up on the knowledge. Most of you have gone deeper. You are not just at the base, but because you lose every time, because you don't communicate using your skills and your ability. Even people that look after their old parents at home, they say, what do you do? Oh, I don't do anything. I just look after my sick, my mother, or this. No. Because you are looking after your mother, tell them when you go for job interview, I have been able to manage her fund, manage her health, be sure that she eats, and manage her medications. Because of me, that's the mastery. My mother has been able to stay alive. My sister has been alive because I make sure that she gets her daily dose of things that keep her alive. You see, you move from just knowledge to skill and to mastery. So if you do that every time, you find out that you will not be losing, you will be winning, because that is what my company does. I help individuals to change so that they can win all the time. Because there's so much in the universe, there's abundance, and we need abundance in our lives. So, take away from today is it is time to make sure that your managers, your peers, prospective employees, friends, and those that you come across in life see that you have set the standard for yourself and make sure that they know the standard that you are, not just somebody that they cannot contest with. No, you are all blessed with knowledge, you are all blessed with skills, but not knowing how to talk about our skill is our problem. So I made it my life mission to show people, especially in my place, people from third world, they shy away because they are trying to be modest. Why do you want to be modest? If you don't show up, if the sun doesn't come out, we won't see it to dry our clothes. So you show up so that people can see what you can do and what you are made of. You have to show up to show what you are made of. So I like to say thank you. Don't forget to trust your gut instinct, trust yourself, and speak up. Speak up so that they don't ask you a second time. Always get it right the first time. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Adobe Bakare. That was really amazing. I personally learned so much from you too, man. That was really a fantastic presentation. Again, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us, and no doubt our viewers learned so much from your experiences, interesting life stories, lessons, and beautiful insights, and so much takeaways from you as well. Once again, let's all give a virtual round of applause to Dr. Adobe Akare from Nigeria. Okay, so may I request you, Dr. Adobe and Sir Akash, to please stay in the other line while we wait for the question and answer later on. Thank you once again, ma'am and sir. Right, so before moving on to the next part of our program, once again, may I request you all to please support IGP. So all you have to do is to share, tag, comment, and mention your friends. We will give the e-certificate link in the comment box later on, and if you face any problem, you can actually collect e-certificates directly from our website www.eduigp.com. And I guess it's now time for us for our quiz competition. All right, so to our new participants, all you have to do is to type in on the search engine slido.com and type in IGP quiz, then add on your name that will appear exactly on your certificate. Again, to our new participants, all you have to do is to type in on the search engine slido.com and type in IGP quiz, then add on your name that will appear exactly on your certificate. And so far, we already have 39 participants. Okay, so again, as you see on the screen, all you have to do is to type in www.slido.com, and for our code, it's IGP quiz, right? So far, we have 40 participants who are joining on our quiz competition. So we're going to start in a short while. Okay, join at slido.com. And for the code, it's IGP quiz. All right, so we are 55 on the list. Going 57. All right, so once again, we're going to start in a short while. So our new participants is www.slido.com on the search engine, and all you have to do is to enter IGP quiz for our quiz code. So later on after the competitions, we're going to choose our top 10 winners, and our top 10s will receive a certifications from IGP. Right, so for our first question, process by which employees are being provided with the knowledge, skills, abilities specific to a task or job. Is it outsourcing or training? A process by which employees are being provided with knowledge, skills, abilities specific to a task or job. Right, so 89% answer training, and the correct answer is training. For our leaderboard, right? So our leading is Romel John C. Aquino, followed by Nico Den S. Miro, and Latina Shehu for the third place, right? So let's now move on in our next question. For question number two, we believe that abilities and intelligence can be developed over time. Is it locus of casuality or growth mindset? Again, it is a belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed over time. Is it locus of casuality or growth mindset? Yes, so 95% answered growth mindset, and the correct answer is growth mindset. Right? So for our leaderboard, Romel John C. Aquino still leading on our quiz competition. Let's now move on our third question. The practical use of scientific knowledge to get things done is it technology or personality? Again, the practical use of scientific knowledge to get things done, is it technology or personality? right? So technology 87%. So the correct answer is technology, right? So Romel, John, C. Aquino still leading on our leaderboard, right? So let's now move on our fourth question. The ability to perceive depth depends on what other perceptual abilities? Is it top down and bottom up processing or binocular and monocular cues? Ability to perceive depth depends on what other perceptual abilities? And the correct answer is binocular and monocular cues. So 32% got the correct answer. And for our leaderboard, Romel John Ciaquinos is still leading, followed by Nico Den Esmiro, Elias A. Austria for the third spot. The natural ability or potential for learning new skills is aptitude or athletic. Again, the natural ability or potential for learning new skills is aptitude or athletic. In four, three, two, and one. And the correct answer here is aptitude. Let's check our leaderboard. Romel John C. Aquino still leading, Elias A. Austria second, and Nicoden Esmiro is our third placer. For question number 6, difficulties in learning and memory abilities are greatest among people who are in late adolescence or later adulthood. Again, difficulties in learning and memory abilities are greatest among people during their late adolescence or later adulthood. Right? So the correct answer here is later adulthood. So 62% got the correct answer. For our leaderboard, let's check. Okay, so still Sir Romel, John C. Aquino is leading, followed by Nico Den Esmiro and Elias A. Austria. For our seventh question, is knowledge of your own learning processes and how you relate to others. A, or knowledge of strategy or knowledge of self. Again, is knowledge of your own learning processes and how you relate to others. Is it knowledge of strategy or knowledge of self? So the correct answer here is knowledge of self. And 77% got the correct answer. On the leaderboard, we have Romel John C. Aquino still leading, and Nicoden Esmiro is our second, and Farila Rezahi is our third placer. Okay. Information, knowledge, ideas, facts, words, symbols, figures, and statistics. Are they data or values? Again, information, knowledge, ideas, facts, words, symbols, figures, and statistics. Are these data or values? Right? So the correct answer is data. And 95% got the correct answer. Okay, so let's now check our leaderboard again. Sir Romel John C. Aquino is still leading. Farila Rezahi, our second, and Elias A. Austria, our third placer. Moving on our second to the last question. What is the term for recognition and regard for yourself and your abilities? Is it self-esteem or enthusiasm? Again, what is the term for recognition and regard for yourself and your abilities? Is it self-esteem or enthusiasm? Okay, so the correct answer is self-esteem. Let's now check our leaderboard. Still on the first spot, we have Romel John C. Aquino and Farila Rezahi and Elias A. Austria. And for our final question, knowledge of different categories of trees is an example of what type of long-term memory. Is it episodic memory or semantic memory? Again, knowledge of different categories of trees is an example of what type of long-term memory. Is it episodic memory or semantic memory? Okay, so the correct answer here is semantic memory. Right, so let's now check our top 10 winners. Right, so congratulations to the following. So bagging the first spot, we have Sir Romel John C. Aquino. Congratulations. Also, for our second spot, we have John Paul Corsanes. And then third placer, we have Farila Rezahi. Fourth place, we have Anna Marie Joy A. Mercado. And then for our fifth place, we have Nicoden Esmiro. Sixth place, we have Elias A. Austria. Seventh place, we have Melinda Civil Hispano. Then we have for eighth place, Romel Hernandez. For ninth place, we have Jessie S. Miliamena. And for our 10th place, we have Joel A. Bernazor. So like once again, congratulations to our top 10 winners. Right, so at this juncture, let's now call back once again on screen our amazing speakers, Dr. Adalbi Bakare and Sir Akash Maharaj, for our question and answer portion. All right, so thank you so much, Dr. Adalbi and Sir Akash, for staying with us and for staying on the line. Right, so audience, you can start sharing your question. And if you have any confusion, clarifications, or if you wanted to learn more on our episode, the importance of the knowledge, skills, and abilities, then you can share it with us. All right, so again, audience, you can start sharing your question. If you have any confusion, clarifications, or if you wanted to learn, learn more on our episode, the importance of knowledge, skills, and abilities, then you can share it with us. So I guess we have our first question from Sir Farouz Akbarov. So, question to any speaker. Is there a uniform matrix to measure KSA or the knowledge, skills, and abilities in companies in any organizations across the world, or does it vary from organization to organization?
So I'd like to
Sir
take this one.
Akash?
Hi, Farouz. Thank you very much for the question. I think in terms of being a uniform matrix to measure KSAs in companies is very difficult. And in my opinion, um, from dealing with companies globally, not only just locally, I think it varies from organization to organization, but more especially, it also varies from division to division within the organization. Because when you're looking at the knowledge, skills, and abilities, it depends on where the organization is within their strategic initiatives and their strategic goals. For example, you may have an engineering company that is looking to diversify their operations, and they are recruiting or looking to have someone as a line manager or managing director or chief executive officer or somebody in a key strategic role, and they could potentially not even hire anyone with an hardcore engineering background, because as much as there might be a need to understand the business, there would be a need to understand the business on a strategic level rather than on a granular level. So an engineering background or an engineering degree may not be required, and that's from a knowledge point of view. However, there may be a very specific requirement for the potential candidate to have been dealing within the engineering sphere or the engineering industry as such. So to not to drag this answer out too long, but no, I would say that there isn't a uniform matrix. There might be a set of overlapping questions or matrices in terms of the type of um, um, people that fit into the organizational culture. However, it varies from organization to organization and even within the divisions within each company. I hope that's answered you.
Right, so thank you so much, Sir Akash, for answering our first question. Right, so do I have another question? Okay. Right, so this is from Sir Lamberto Galatan. Sir Akash, if you will hire an employee, what will you give? Is it premium, soft skills, or hard skills? Thank you, sir.
All right. Hi, Lamberto. Thank you very much for the question. In terms of giving premium, that's also a very subjective position that we are actually hiring for. So, if, for example, we're hiring for a position that's highly technical, that requires a very, very technical skill, then we would go for hard skills. But however, if we're looking for somebody in a to consult with clients and is in a position that needs a general broad-based understanding of business, um, it's very, very important. I would actually give premium to soft skills over hard skills. Hard skills can always be learned, I find, but it's always important for us to employ the right people rather than just based on a resume and based on a degree certificate. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Sir Akash, for answering our second question. So, do we have another question from our audience? Okay, so our third question is from the Noxon Saidova. So, I hope I pronounced it correctly. So, question to Dr. Adobe Bakare. What is the difference between competence and ability?
Competence That's what I understand by this. Should I say knowledge? Because competence is do you mean in terms of skills or the basic awareness? But I'm going to put it on skill now. The competence is like we said, engineering, being able to do all the things that is required. That is competence. They on their CV, they're okay. They've got the skill, the training, but the ability is being able to make your mark, to adapt, and also to put your own style to things so that when it's done, even if you're sleeping, you are able to, people can see you as the go-to person when they need a certain things to be done, probably like a structure that is very complex. Like I know a guy that does windows, bulletproof windows. He only does for high rise, for probably buildings over 10 stories high. So he cut across all the other people that are just competent in doing bulletproof windows. He only does for buildings 10 over 10 stories high. So he's competent, he has the ability to tackle such buildings. So people don't call him for small jobs. They call him for £1 million job because he has shown his ability and his mastery on that field. So competence is just okay, you have everything, but the ability is mastery in this case. When we talk of ability, not just knowledge, but it's gone past the competence and it's got the mastery. That is the difference.
All right. So thank you so much, Dr. Adalbi, for giving your insights on that third question. Right. So we have another question from again Sir Farouz Akbarov. So to Mr. Akash Maharaj, why every year the list of skill set keeps changing, like the one you showed with the 12 skills? What causes such changes?
So, Farouz, thank you very much for that question again. I would like to say that I think the skill sets don't necessarily change on an annual basis, but depending on the landscape of the environment, the business environment within which we operate. So we must remember also that skill sets are normally the skill sets, for example, that I've gone through within my presentation have been general skill sets that people need across all industries and professions to be able to be successful and to be able to climb the corporate ladder or become successful in business. However, the skill sets that are required continuously change because the landscape within which we operate from a business perspective has been changing. And it changes quicker now than it did maybe 20, 30 years ago, only because technology is now moving with leaps and bounds. At first there was, a norm. We used to use a lot of checks. For example, we used to write checks, and then we moved to debit and credit cards, and then we're moving on to online payments, and then from normal online payments, we're now moving on to blockchain, from Bitcoin to blockchain to cryptocurrency. Payment systems are changing, and that's just one example. The mode of transport are changing. Quite a few years ago, not too long ago, when you wanted to send something, a parcel to someone, you used a courier company, and they would physically send a human being out. Now there are, for example, drones that are doing deliveries, and that's reaching into rural areas as well. So the skill sets change only because you need to keep up with the way technology is moving and the way the landscape is moving and the way business is moving. So I think that's ultimately what causes such changes. And then the skill sets change because the knowledge base that you need and the types of educational background that you need for the knowledge to be able to perform in those positions ultimately change as well. I hope I've managed to answer that question for you.
Right. So thank you so much, sir, for providing us that comprehensive answer. And do we have another question from our audience? Right. So once again, to Sir Lamberto Pilaten, so Dr. Adobe, ma'am, how could we develop our knowledge and skills to become ability? What advantages it could give an employee if he or she could do it? Thank you.
Okay. Um, the knowledge, the way you can develop your knowledge to and skills to become ability is by differentiation or putting in. I wouldn't say just putting because there's no need doing a job for 50 years, like Mr. Sir Catch said. If you are a delivery person, things have changed, they've evolved. Like they're using drones now. I didn't even know about it until now. So, whatever job you're doing, keep your eyes open on what is going on in your industry. Like, probably, I don't know what excuse to use, but maybe somebody that's like, okay, I'll use the simple one. Like now, they have I go to shops, I see frozen curries. I would never buy it before because I like the fresh ones. But I thought they wouldn't taste nice until somebody bought one and I tried it by mistake and it was delicious. So the person that is doing that has a skill of cooking curry and everything, if you feel that things are changing, people don't have time to come to your shop, they go to the supermarket, you can actually start training your chefs to cook and be approaching supermarkets so that your things can be there for the lazy people that don't want to come to your shop. They can pick it from the supermarket and make sure that you learn how to freeze, how to make frozen food taste good so that they don't go off. Know what is required, know the laws, and put your sell by date. So by the time the people pick it up, when they remember that they want to eat curry, they don't have to go to the shop, your restaurant. They can just go to your shop and pick up the same thing. So that's when you become an ability. People know you that anywhere they see your product is the best, so there's an ability. Like Apple, people don't when people buy Apple, they expect it to work. The iPhone, nobody buys it thinking that it's going to be dodgy. So all the other phones now, they've actually seen that as standard. So they want to make whatever they are doing best. Gone are the days that we buy things that are dodgy, because if you sell dodgy things, you're just going to go out of the market because people go to social media to report you. So by improving your skill, honing it, making it look nice, and putting on the new things in the industry so that you're not left behind. In that way, you become, you go to mastery. Just like a teacher, if a teacher is just teaching ordinary teaching, the students are rowdy, they're not listening to you. You come in, teach and go. But the other teacher that puts in the extra care, finding out if the children have, how did they come to school? Did anybody have problems getting to school before teaching them, and making sure that he actually gives them handouts, not the one that says just go and print it. Are they actually printing it? So when you keep on showing care and knowledge in what you do, you become the best teacher in the school. You find out that other people will say, oh, maybe the headmaster likes you. No, it's because you have decided to improve your mastery. You are the go to person. Before you know it, other schools will be hiring you and paying you more. So that is what you go from skills to become ability. And the advantage is that you get more money and you become, even if you don't get money, but you become professionally somebody that everybody recognizes and they want to do business with. Even if you go for employment, they will see that you have a track record that is good. So you have something to offer that beats the competition. So when people are queuing for jobs, you are at the top. That is the way I say it. I hope this answers it.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Adobe, for answering our final question. Okay, so I guess that ends our question and answer portion. And I think that also concludes our webinar for today. Right, so thank you so much to our amazing speakers who have contributed a lot in today's episode, the importance of knowledge, skills, and abilities. Like once again, never-ending gratitude to our magnificent speakers for today, Dr. Adobe Bakhare and Sir Akash Maharaj, for sharing
Thank
their
you.
precious time and expertise with us today. So before we finally end our webinar, so like any final word from you, Dr. Adobe and Sir Akash.
Do I go first? Who or is it?
Please.
Yeah, I would like for people not to see that just having knowledge as a burden or as like oh, I've done all this and my life is still the same. It is just because nobody taught us. Our parents teach us to go to school, but they don't really find out what we're doing. So the best thing you can do for yourself is to adapt. Try to see how you can change things for yourself if you have already not already done so. And your children, the generation, you have to change the generation because we can't be in poverty and let our children be in the same poverty. You have knowledge now and you have to use it because this is not about some people, they just do the knowledge and they put their certificate in the cupboard and they just pray. There's nothing wrong with prayers, but you need to reach out and study how you can make yourself more valuable to your industry. And in that way, you get the rewards and move to abilities. And it also puts you in a position of people come after you to learn, to teach them, or to pay you more. Thank you. Life is short, so
All right, so
take do it today.
thank you
Hi
so much,
all.
Dr. Adobe. Sir Akash.
Yeah. I think just as a parting shot, thank you very much, Dr. Bakari, as well. You've brought a new perspective on quite a lot of things that we've discussed here today. Um, it was a pleasure listening to you, and I think what I'd like to leave with everybody is that as we speak about the importance of knowledge, skills, and abilities, knowledge has been spoken about first. And as I said in my presentation, it's one of the easiest and simplest things to acquire. And it's not necessary that, I mean, I'm in South Africa, Dr. Bakari is in Nigeria. Africa has always been looked upon, and most parts of Asia have been looked upon as, the orphaned child and a third world country. And the thing is that we don't necessarily have to, um, get your knowledge by producing a piece of paper from a university. Knowledge is all around us. You just need to be able to look for it. You have access to knowledge everywhere. And if you just take 1 hour a day for the next year or 2 years and you focus on one particular subject, I can almost guarantee you'll become a subject matter expert in that particular field of expertise. So the whole thing that I'm trying to say is that, and I've seen this in practice as well, and I'm sure Dr. Bakari will bear me out on this as well, is that the key to success in anything is to be focused on your goal and to practice consistency.
Yeah.
Having the knowledge and not practicing it will make you lose that knowledge. You will forget, half of the things that you've studied. I mean, how many of us are able to help our children with their work in school? For example, there are some subjects that we just can't handle. So it's because we don't work with it all the time. So go and empower yourself, get the knowledge, the skills and the ability will come through consistency. I wish you all well and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Right, so thank you so much. I will always remember those words. Thank you so much once again to our amazing speakers, Dr. Adobe Bakare from Nigeria and Sir Akash Maharaj from South Africa. So once again, thank you so much, ma'am and sir.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for the
Welcome.
Right,
opportunity
so
and God
dear
bless.
knowledge, it's our pleasure, sir and ma'am. Right,
Thank
so
you.
dear knowledge seeker, I would like to thank you all for attending today's session, and hopefully you've learned something new and something interesting today. Please leave a review or recommend our page if you learned something wonderful on our discussion today. Once more, do not forget to collect your e-certificate and to give a check-in with IGP. Please spread the information with your friends, and we hope to see you all on our next webinar. It's like for everyone's information, we had extended our diploma certificate submissions on its new date, January 15 of 2022. And for our IGP code for today's session, it's IGP 5875. All right, so thank you so much for staying with us, and I hope to see you all again on our next episodes. So once again, I am Sir Jason Asiumang saying thank you, be safe, and stay happy always. Thank you.